If you can teleport anywhere in the world, you are basically the ultimate weapon.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, you bypass borders, you bypass walls, you just, you ignore geography entirely.
Right, geography doesn't even matter anymore.
Exactly. Now, I want you to imagine that weapon has just fallen into the hands of a sadistic, magic-draining cult. A cult that, thrives on infiltrating safe zones.
Yeah, that is a terrifying thought.
Because that is the exact nightmare the nation of Navarre is waking up to right now.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Morning! It isn't. Let's find this new brother. Berwyn suggested in Onyx Storm. The evidence never lied.
By the way, we're skipping the small talk today because we have a massive mission.
We really do. It's a complete geographical and tactical checkmate for Navarre. I mean, we've spent 3 books believing that distance and wards were the only things keeping the continent from being consumed,
Right, the wards were the ultimate shield.
Yeah, but if a Vinnin can just blink past those defenses, I mean, just instantly teleport inside, the war is effectively over before the alarm bells even ring. Which is exactly why today's deep dive is so critical for us to unpack. We are officially opening case file number 014.
A big one.
The big one. This is a forensic literary investigation into the ending of Rebecca Yarris's Onyx Storm. Specifically, we are hunting for the identity of the new brother in the Venin Collective.
And we have a ton of material to get through to figure this out.
Oh, absolutely. To figure out who Sage Berwyn stole, we are pulling from a massive stack of sources today. We've got the primary texts, obviously, Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm.
Right, the Holy Trinity.
Yeah. Plus, we are digging into sprawling Reddit community theories, spoiler guides, and this really, really illuminating meta-analysis from a milky interview with Yarros herself.
That interview is basically...
Did you really think that would be enough to kill me, Xaden? You only made me stronger. And now, it's my turn to taunt you.
a gold mine.
It really is. And we've got a stack of deep-cut lore blogs, too, so we have to map out all these clues for you, figure out the tactical implications, and ultimately see what this means for Xaden Ryerson.
Well, before we even start naming suspects, I think we have to establish the baseline of the catastrophe.
Right, set the scene.
Yeah, you have to think about where we left off in Iron Flame. So Xaden Ryerson, the shadow-wielding figurehead of the revolution, he makes this completely impossible choice.
A devastating choice.
Completely. He bypasses his dragon, Skasiel, and he draws raw magic directly from the earth to save Violet. And in doing so, he instantly becomes a Venin initiate.
An Asim, right?
Exactly, and a sim, to use the specific terminology from the Venin hierarchy.
And I'm really glad you brought up that specific term because Asim is crucial for you to understand here. It's the lowest rung of the Venin ladder.
The absolute bottom.
Right. It's the grunts, the newly turned... Xaden didn't just become some dark god overnight. I mean, he became a foot soldier for an ancient evil.
Yeah, a pawn, really.
Exactly. And that alone was a tectonic shift for the entire series.
It fundamentally altered the power dynamic. I mean, Xaden, this guy who was used to commanding armies and being totally in control.
What if Garrick is the key? He's always with Xaden. It fits perfectly.
He is now magically tethered to a master.
A master he hates?
Right. But then Onyx Storm ends with an even sharper twist, if you can believe it. Sage Berwyn, the Venin commander who engineered Xaden's fall in the first place, he reveals a second gut punch.
And it is a huge one.
He reveals he has turned another person close to Xaden.
So to understand how Berwyn actually managed to snatch a second high-value target, you have to really analyze the environment where it happened.
The battlefield itself.
Yeah. Put yourself in the absolute chaos of the Battle of Draithus at the end of Onyx Storm, because this wasn't just a skirmish,
Not at all.
This was a meat grinder. It was a pressure cooker designed specifically to break human psychology.
Draithus really is a masterclass in engineered despair. I mean, to understand who was turned and why they turned, You have to understand the specific physical and mental toll of this siege.
It was relentless.
Completely relentless. The riders are stretched impossibly thin. Draithus is swarming with wyvern. And let's remember, wyvern are essentially artificial dragons, right?
Right. They're animated by the channeled power of dark wielders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they don't tire the way real dragons do. They literally don't feel pain. It's just this unending wave of teeth and fire crashing into the riders.
And right in the middle of this awful meat grinder, Violet gets hit with this agonizing mandate from her brother, Brennan.
Ugh, Brennan.
Right. Brennan essentially tells her she has to choose. Because Violet, she wants to save the city, she wants to kill the Venan sage Theophany, and she desperately wants to save their sister, Mira.
Because Mira has just been captured.
Exactly. Mira is a hostage, but Brennan, ever the cold tactician, he does the math. He just flat out tells her they don't have the forces to do all three.
It's the burden of command distilled into a single horrible moment.
Mm.
Brennan basically forces a trolley problem onto Violet.
That's a great way to put it.
And Violet, she chooses the tactical imperative over her own heart. She prioritizes killing Theophany, the Dark Wielder, fully knowing it means leaving Mira at the mercy of the enemy.
Which just kicks off a cascade of absolute brutality. I mean, we find out Commandant Panchek is actually a traitor.
Oh, that reveal was wild.
So wild. He's been leaking Navarian military intelligence directly to Sage Berwyn this whole time. Now, I know a lot of readers were probably thrilled to see Panchek get his comeuppance.
Oh, for sure. Everyone hated him.
Right. But the way it happens is incredibly important for the lore.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Because Berwyn betrays Panchek instantly.
Yeah.
But, he doesn't just stab Panchek.
No, he does.
Berwyn drives a dagger into Panchek's dragon.
Right. And because the bond goes both ways, killing the dragon instantly kills Panchek.
It's an instant death sentence.
Exactly. I mean, we've known since book 1 that a writer rarely survives the death of their dragon. It's this visceral, fatal severing of the soul. But what does that specific act tell us about Berwyn's strategy?
Well, it establishes his absolute disregard for life, whether as human or dragon. Even the lives of his so-called allies, like Panchek.
Yeah, he just discards them.
Completely.
Yeah.
It sets the baseline for his cruelty. But more importantly, I think it shows that Berwyn understands the vulnerability of the bond.
He knows where to hit them.
Exactly. He knows the absolute fastest way to break a human is to attack their dragon.
And then we get the moment that made readers literally throw the book across the room.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say.
Theophany has Mira. And Theophany utters this incredibly chilling line before she acts.
The quote about lying.
Yes. She says, and I quote, "First thing to learn about us is that we're careful with our words. The second, we also lie." And then she just slits Mira's throat.
It's a profound shock to the system. I mean, reading that just leaves you breathless. But we have to look at it clinically for this investigation.
Right. Take a step back.
Yeah, because this entire sequence, Mira's murder, Panchek's dragon dying, the unending wyvern assault, it is the necessary catalyst for a Venan turning.
It's all about creating the right environment.
Exactly. We have to look at the actual mechanics of corruption here. How does someone actually become Venan?
I think people get confused and think it's like joining the dark side in Star Wars,
Like you just get angry and turn evil.
Yeah. Like you just embrace the hatred and boom, you're a bad guy. But it's not a philosophical choice, is it? It almost always stems from physiological and emotional desperation.
Precisely. It is a bypass safety mechanism. Navarian magic relies on a filter. The Earth's magic is just too raw. It's too consuming for a normal human soul to handle.
It would burn them out.
Right. So dragons act as conduits. They draw the magic, they filter it, and then they pass a safe, diluted version to their bonded rider.
But when a rider is pushed to the absolute brink, when their dragon's magic is fully depleted, or maybe they are physically cut off from it.
And someone they love is about to die.
Exactly. When that happens, they reach past the dragon. They grab the raw, ambient magic of the earth itself.
And the moment that raw magic enters the human system without the dragon's filter, it corrupts. Instantly.
The red rings around the eyes.
Yeah, eyes rim with red. The soul begins to hollow out, and it creates this insatiable hunger for more magic. Xaden didn't turn at the end of Iron Flame because he wanted power.
No, not at all.
He turned because he did the math, he realized Violet was going to die, and he reached for the earth because it was literally the only variable left to change the outcome.
And at Draithus, Berwyn forces Xaden into that exact same corner again. Skyle, Xaden's dragon, is trapped in a net.
Completely immobilized.
Yeah. And Berwyn is moving in to execute her. So Xaden has to channel deep, drawing directly from the earth again, basically advancing his corruption from a low-level Asim to something much darker, just to save his dragon.
And it's in the immediate aftermath of this desperate act, right as the dust is finally settling, that we get the big reveal.
The moment of truth.
Right. The text gives us Xaden's internal monologue. He realizes he is physically incapable of killing Berwyn, because Berwyn is his sage.
The hierarchy kicks in.
Exactly. The magical hierarchy of the Vaenen prevents a lower rank from striking down their creator.
But it's more than just a magical leash, you know? That's the terrifying part to me. Xaden realizes he can't fight back because Berwyn has actual physical leverage.
The new brother.
Right. Xaden says, and I quote here, "Berwyn has another sibling he can use against me."
Another sibling. That is the lock we have to pick today.
So I want you to think about this dynamic for a second. It's exactly like a hostage situation.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Like, imagine you're a police negotiator. You finally breach the compound. You've got your gun leveled right at the cult leader.
You think you've won.
Right. But then the leader just smiles and points to the corner of the room, and your own family member is tied to a chair with a detonator. The entire power dynamic flips in a millisecond. Xaden is completely paralyzed.
That is a highly accurate way to look at it. It neutralizes Xaden completely, but, it raises a much bigger question about Vaenen strategy.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, did Berwyn just get lucky? Or does Berwyn orchestrate these chaotic battles, like Draithus, specifically to manufacture the desperation needed to turn riders?
Oh, I would argue it's entirely manufactured. I mean, it's a recruitment drive disguised as a siege.
A recruitment drive. I like that.
Yeah. They want to conquer territory, sure, and they definitely want to drain the hatching grounds. But their greatest assets are corrupted riders.
Absolutely.
So creating these scenarios of impossible choice, like Brennan forcing Violet to abandon Mira, or like Berwyn trapping Skyle, these are basically psychological torture devices. They're designed specifically to force a rider to reach for the earth.
I agree completely. I mean, Berwyn didn't just stumble upon a new recruit in the heat of battle by accident. He engineered the desperation required to break a specific target.
Which means the person who broke this mysterious new brother had to be someone in the thick of that engineered desperation at Draithus.
Someone pushed way past their breaking point.
Exactly. Which brings us to the actual clues.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to build a suspect profile here, we need to look at the meta-evidence from the sources.
And we have some really strong meta-evidence.
We do. According to the sources we're pulling from, specifically this widely circulated Reddit post that detailed a fan event in Denver, author Rebecca Yarros reportedly dropped a massive hint to the crowd.
The Denver hint is huge.
It's everything. She supposedly said that this brother is someone who has, quote, always been in Xaden's shadow.
That phrase is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Subject 14 shows unusual density. Let's see how it reacts to the catalyst. Just as I suspected.
Let's unpack the literal and metaphorical implications of that.
Let's do it.
So Xaden is a shadow wielder. His signet allows him to physically manipulate shadows. He cloaks himself in them. He eavesdrops through them. He literally wields them as blades.
Right. It's his whole aesthetic.
Yeah. So on a literal level, who operates within Xaden's physical shadows on the battlefield? Who is always flanking him in the dark?
Well, that narrows the suspect list significantly to his immediate vanguard, right?
Exactly.
But the metaphorical shadow is even more telling, I think. Like, who exists in the shadow of Xaden's overwhelming personality?
That's the real question.
I mean, he's the heir to the Tirish throne. He has immense magical power. He's the wing leader, the figurehead of the entire Marked I rebellion. Who is the secondary character to Xaden's main character energy?
To answer that, we have to look at another piece of source material. The Milky interview sources are super illuminating here.
Oh yeah, tell them about the Milky interview.
So Yarros talks extensively in this interview about how much she loves exploring the found family dynamic, particularly within these military settings where, biological families are either dead, distant, or actively trying to kill you.
Right. The found family is basically the emotional core of the entire Empyrean series. I mean, Violet finds her family in Rhiannon, Widok, and Sawyer.
Exactly. And Xaden finds his found family in the Marked Ones.
Liam, Garrick, Imogen, Bodhi, they all rely on each other for pure survival.
But what Yarros is doing with the Vaenen hierarchy, and she hints at this, is introducing a dark mirror to that found family trope.
A dark mirror. I like that.
The Vaenen are a corrupted found family.
Yeah.
The sages, or mavens, act as these abusive, controlling, patriarchal figures. And the initiates, the newly turned Asim, they are inducted as siblings or brothers.
So it's basically a toxic magical mafia family.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So when Xaden realizes Berwyn has another sibling, he's acknowledging that someone else from his actual found family has been drafted into this twisted mob family under the same mob boss.
Yeah, and Yarrow's noted in that same interview that her characters are rarely two-dimensional. Her villains often have motivations you can almost empathize with, right?
Right. They aren't just evil for the sake of being evil.
Exactly. So that suggests that whoever this brother is, they didn't turn out of pure malice or this sudden desire for world domination. They turned for a reason that Xaden and we, as the readers, might actually understand.
Which circles right back to desperation.
Always back to desperation.
So you've got to put yourself in Xaden's shoes for a second here. Look around his inner circle. Who fits this description? Who is always a step behind him, loyally executing his orders without question.
Who lives in his shadow.
Yeah. Who lives in his shadow, and who would be desperate enough at Draithus to bypass their dragon and draw from the earth?
Well, if we look at the tactical board, the emotional tie,
He is with us now, Xaden. You have a new brother.
and the generational history, I mean, all the arrows point toward one prime suspect. We have to talk about Garrick Tavis.
We have to. Garrick is, from a narrative standpoint, the literal textbook definition of someone living in a shadow.
He really is.
Let's look at the background. Garrick has been Xaden's best friend since childhood, but it goes way deeper than just friendship. His father was an aide to Xaden's father, Fenrirson.
Right. The generational tie.
Exactly. So generationally, the Tavis family has served in the shadow of the Rierson family.
And he is fiercely loyal. He is constantly flanking Xaden, executing the dirty work, keeping the secrets that even Violet doesn't know.
Oh, he keeps so many secrets.
He does. He is Xaden's most trusted confidant. But, the emotional connection is only half the equation here.
What's the other half?
The other half is his tactical value. Because in Onyx Storm, we finally get the reveal of Garrick's second signet.
Oh, man, this reveal. For 2 books, fans have been speculating wildly about what power Garrick was hiding.
Everyone had a theory.
Right, but the spoiler guides and summaries finally confirm it. Garrick is a walker, or a distance wielder.
And that, right there, is the most damning piece of evidence for him being the Venan brother.
Because a distance wielder is capable of traveling thousands of miles in just a few minutes.
It's localized teleportation.
Yeah, it's insane. Violet even mentions in the text that there have only been 2 recorded distance wielders in all of Navarian history. It is an incredibly rare, almost mythic signet.
Exactly. It breaks the fundamental rules of engagement.
Okay, but hold on. I have to challenge this premise for a second.
Go for it.
If Garrick can basically teleport, why couldn't he just blink away from danger at Draithus?
The teleportation paradox.
Yeah. Like, why would a teleporter ever be caught in a situation desperate enough to turn Venan? It's like having a fully charged, top-of-the-line evasion system, but choosing to just stand in front of a firing squad. Was his power neutralized somehow?
That is the critical paradox, and it's a brilliant question.
Yeah.
Why does the teleporter get trapped?
Exactly.
The answer lies in the specific chaos of Draithus and the physical limitations of signets themselves. Magic isn't an infinite resource.
It has a cost.
Yes, it has a physiological cost. Think of it like a high-performance battery running a massive server farm. Under normal conditions, it's fine. But under extreme load, it drains exponentially faster and eventually leaves absolutely nothing left for the cooling systems or the backup drives.
Right. Burnout. Power exhaustion is a very real and dangerous thing for writers. I mean, Violet burns out constantly.
Exactly. And we know from the text that earlier in the book, Garrick is pushed to his absolute limit.
During the Newhall battle.
Yes, the battle at Newhall. He shows up to save Violet and Marin's family in this town. And a dark wielder named Theophany, the same one who shows up at Draithus later, throws a literal tornado at them.
A literal tornado.
Right. So Garrick and Violet are forced into a brutal retreat, and they end up crashing into a mountain.
And Terran is knocked out in that crash. Violet loses her power completely for a while.
Exactly. So if Violet is depleted, you have to assume Garrick is heavily depleted too.
That makes sense.
He has been heavily utilizing his primary signet of air wielding, plus his newly revealed distance wielding, to run logistics, rescue people, and fight in the chaotic vanguard of Draithus.
So he's running on fumes?
By the time the climax hits, that high-performance battery is dead. He is out of fuel, his dragon is exhausted, and the Venin are closing in.
Okay, so he's drained, he can't blink away, but that still leaves the question of why he would draw from the Earth. Like, what was the actual trigger?
A desperation point.
Right, because Xaden turned to save Sisgail. Who was Garrick trying to save?
To answer that, we have to look at another really insidious reason the Venin would specifically target Garrick. It's not just about his distance wielding.
It's not.
No, it has to do with his dragon, Chradh, the brown scorpion tail.
Oh, this is where the lore gets so good.
It really does.
Because in Iron Flame, it is explicitly established that Chradh is uniquely sensitive to runes.
Yes. We have to dive into the rune mechanics here for a minute.
Let's unpack it.
So Navarian wards are essentially massive runic frequency jammers. They are built on ancient runes to repel Venin magic. But the Venin, they've started adapting, right?
Hey, they aren't just sitting still.
Exactly. They're using corrupted Navarian craftsmanship to create their own lures. These are boxes inscribed with twisted runes that draw wyvern and dark magic.
And it was Chradh who detected the Venin lure box hidden in Rasan.
Precisely.
He could literally smell the runic energy it was emitting from, like, far away.
He's like a bloodhound for magic. So if the Venin heavily rely on runic magic for their lures, their traps, and potentially even their communication or movement, a dragon that can sniff out runes like that is the ultimate threat to their operations.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they can't hide anything if Chradh is in the sky.
Exactly. So if you are Sage Berwyn, you don't just want to kill that dragon, you want to co-opt it.
This is so dark.
Turning Garrick eliminates the greatest reconnaissance threat the Venin face and weaponizes it for their own use.
And there is a massive textual clue in the Onyx Storm summaries regarding the chaotic aftermath of the battle at Draithus.
The dragon sighting.
Yes. Amidst all the carnage, there is this passing sighting of a fatally wounded large brown dragon.
A fatally wounded large brown dragon.
And Chradh is a brown scorpion tail. If Chradh is fatally wounded, bleeding out on the battlefield, I mean, Garrick is facing the imminent death of his bond.
And as we established earlier, riders do not survive the death of their dragons.
It is the ultimate desperation.
It really is. His battery's empty, he can't teleport, his best friend is fighting a sage, and his dragon is dying. What do riders do when their dragon is about to die and they are completely out of magic?
They channel from the earth.
They channel from the earth, just like Xaden did for Skazael, just like the ancient historical writer Xaden did for his dragon.
It's a perfect tragic mirror of Xaden's own fall.
It fits the psychological profile perfectly, it fits the tactical setup, and it aligns with all the clues.
So, we need to map out what this actually means strategically for the next book, because the implications are terrifying.
Oh, they are catastrophic.
If Garrick is the new brother, Navarre isn't just dealing with another dark wielder throwing fireballs. They are dealing with a Venin distance wielder.
It is a literal game-over scenario for Navarian defense.
How so? Walk us through it.
Let's break down how the wards actually function. The entire premise of Navarre's safety relies on physical and magical boundaries based on distance and geography.
Right. The wards create a safe zone where Venin cannot channel ambient magic.
Yes, but the wards are massive. It takes hours or even days to fly across them.
Right. The dampening effect isn't necessarily instantaneous right at the border, and the sheer distance is what protects the interior cities.
But if Garrick can cross thousands of miles in minutes...
Oh, man. A compromised Garrick could bypass the geographic buffer entirely. He could instantly deliver dark wielders behind enemy lines. He could blink a strike team into the heart of Basgiath or Orisha, bypassing the ward boundaries before the magical dampening effect even has time to register on a systemic level.
He is the ultimate Trojan horse. I mean, it turns a war of attrition, where you can normally see the enemy marching for weeks, into a war of sudden, unavoidable strikes.
He could appear in King Tari's bedroom.
He could blink right into the archives.
Tactically, capturing a distance wielder is the greatest victory Berwyn could have achieved at Draithus. It far exceeds the capture of the city itself. It's checkmate.
It really is. However, in the interest of a truly thorough forensic investigation, we cannot simply lock onto one suspect and ignore the rest of the evidence.
Fair point. We have to look at the whole board.
Right, because the Reddit boards are not completely unified on Garrick. There are other names floating around that we must debunk to really solidify our theory.
Okay, fair enough. Let's look at the alternative suspects. First up, Bodhi Duran.
Xaden's cousin.
Right, Xaden's cousin. A lot of readers point to Bodhi, and on the surface, the theory kind of holds water.
What is the primary argument for Bodhi on the forums?
Well, the argument is twofold. First, you have the political angle. Bodhi is Xaden's technical heir.
Right.
If Xaden falls to corruption or is exiled, Bodhi rules Tyrrendor. Second, the shadow clue. Violet explicitly notes in Iron Flame that Bodhi is, quote, perpetually tagging along a step behind Xaden.
A step behind. That does fit the Denver clue perfectly.
Exactly. Plus, his signet is countering other signets. Imagine a Venin who can just cancel out Violet's lightning or Xaden's shadows. That would be a huge asset.
Very solid theory on paper. Bodhi definitely lives in Xaden's shadow. But if we analyze it structurally and tactically, turning Bodhi just feels redundant.
Redundant? I mean, if I'm Berwyn, I want all the signet counters I can get.
Yes, but look at what the Venin already possess. They already have Xaden.
Right.
They already have the primary heir to Tyrrendor, the figurehead of the rebellion, and the absolute most powerful shadow wielder of his generation.
That's true.
Turning Bodhi gives them another Tyrish royal and a signet counter, which, sure, is useful defensively, but it doesn't fundamentally change the geometry of the war the way a Distance Wielder does.
So you're saying Bodhi is a shield, but Garrick is a tactical nuke.
Exactly. Garrick provides a totally new axis of attack. Bodhi just reinforces existing defenses.
That makes total sense.
Furthermore, if we look at the emotional devastation Berwyn is trying to inflict, turning Garrick, the childhood best friend, the man who has literally bled beside Xaden for years, is arguably a much deeper, more paralyzing wound than turning a cousin, even one as close as Bodhi.
Yeah, the pain point has to be maximal for Berwyn's plan to work.
Exactly.
Okay, what about Dane Ados? Because some readers are absolutely convinced it's Dane.
Oh, Dane.
The logic here is intelligence gathering. Dane reads memories, right?
Right.
Berwyn could use him to extract every single secret of the revolution. The Navarian military troop movements, the wardstone placements, literally everything.
The tactical logic is definitely sound there. But this is where we have to look beyond the text and into the narrative architecture itself.
The meta-narrative.
Right. As an author, you do not build a house just to instantly burn it down.
Yeah.
It is highly unlikely to be Dan, and the milky interview sources explicitly back this up.
Because of his redemption arc.
Precisely. In the interview, Rebecca Yarros explicitly defended Dane's character arc. The audience at the panel was giving Dane a really hard time, comparing his boundary violations to Xaden's.
And Yarros pushed back on that.
She pushed back hard. She highlighted how she planned his arc meticulously from the very beginning.
Right. We start with the childhood best friend who is rigidly devoted to the rules.
To a fault.
Exactly. And that devotion leads to a massive betrayal in Iron Flame because he trusts his father over Violet. But then we get that profound realization.
When he reads her memories.
Yes. Dane reads Violet's memories, realizes Commandant Varish is torturing her, realizes his own father lied to him, and he just snaps.
It's a huge turning point.
He kills Varish, he saves Violet, and he chooses to go into exile with the Marked Ones. The very people who completely despise him. He sacrifices his entire worldview, his rank, and his family to do the right thing.
Exactly. That is a completed, hard-won, grueling redemption arc.
It took so much to get him there.
So to turn him Venin in the very next book would entirely undo that narrative journey. It would reduce his massive sacrifice to a mere setup for another betrayal.
Yeah, that would be so frustrating.
From a storytelling perspective, it is just unsatisfying and structurally unsound. Yarros wouldn't dismantle her own carefully built character arc just for a cheap shock value twist.
I agree completely. So we scratched Dane off the list. What about Eric Greatcastle?
The prince.
Right, or to use his royal name, Prince Camtori, the royal runaway.
Yeah.
He's powerful, he's got massive political connections. If the Venin want to topple Navarre, taking the king's son is a pretty great start, wouldn't you say?
Eric is a really fascinating character, but we have to go back to the specific wording of the clues.
The Denver hint again.
Yes. Eric operates in his family's shadow, not Xaden's. The clue from the Denver event was specifically someone who has, quote, always been in Xaden's shadow.
And Eric and Xaden don't really have a brotherly dynamic at all, do they?
Not at all. They have this antagonistic, wary respect born of necessity. They're definitely not brothers in the found family sense.
Right.
Joining Eric would basically just be a political kidnapping. It would be a huge blow to King Corey, obviously.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be an emotional gut punch to Xaden's soul.
It wouldn't paralyze Xaden.
No, it doesn't fit the specific psychological profile Berwyn is weaponizing to keep Xaden in line.
Which leaves my personal favorite wildcard theory from the deep lore blogs.
Oh boy. Let me guess. Secret Redoc.
Yes. Secret Redoc. I knew we would get here eventually.
I see this one everywhere.
I love this theory because it's so playful, but also weirdly plausible if you squint really hard.
If you squint very hard, sure.
The idea is that Redoc, our beloved ice-wielding comic relief, is somehow always present during every major world-shifting event in the series.
He does have a knack for being right in the middle of the action.
He's always just there, cracking a joke while the world literally burns around them. So the theory suggests he's hiding a deeper signet, or maybe a secret bloodline, and that his comic relief persona is a cover.
A deep cover agent.
Right. Could Berwyn have snatched the class clown?
Look, I appreciate the immense creativity of the lore blogs. It really highlights how deeply engaged the community is with every single line of text.
It's amazing.
But as an investigator, I have to ground us in the facts of the narrative. Redoc is fiercely loyal. He's a phenomenal character, but he is fiercely loyal to Violet.
Right. He is a core part of her found family.
Exactly. He does not fit the brother or shadow dynamic specific to Xaden. Redoc exists in Violet's light, not Xaden's shadow.
That's a great way to put it.
Turning Redoc would devastate Violet, certainly. But the reveal in Onyx Storm is explicitly framed around Xaden's realization.
The quote about the leverage against him.
Yes. My sage has another sibling he can use against me. The target was specifically chosen to break Xaden's leverage. That requires someone inextricably linked to Xaden's own history, his own command structure, and his own heart.
So it always comes back to Garrick.
It always comes back to Garrick.
The motive, the means, the shadow, the dying dragon, it all aligns perfectly.
It really does.
So if we assume Garrick is the new brother, let's step back and look at the macro tactical map here. What is the state of the board at the end of Onyx Storm? Because it sounds like an absolutely unwinnable war for our heroes.
The board is frankly terrifying for the protagonists. Let's trace the collapse. Commandant Panchek is dead, which means the military leadership at Basgiath is in utter disarray.
Complete chaos.
Yes. The Venin have successfully infiltrated the highest levels of Navarian military intelligence, proving that absolutely no fortress is safe.
Like, the call isn't just coming from inside the house. The caller literally owns the house at this point.
Precisely. Xaden, the most powerful rider of his generation, is a fully channeled Venin initiate and a sim, struggling desperately to maintain his humanity while tethered to a dark master.
That alone is bad enough.
Right. But now, someone incredibly close to him, a distance wielder capable of bypassing all geographic defenses, is a fellow Venin under the exact same sadistic sage.
It's a total strategic and emotional collapse.
Total collapse.
But there's a recurring theme in the text that I think we really need to highlight here, and it has to do with the Empyrean, the dragons themselves.
Yes, the dragons are the true wild card in this entire conflict. They are essentially gods in this world.
Right. Their magic sustains the wards, their fire destroys Wyvern.
They are the ultimate power.
But they have one massive, glaring vulnerability. Us. The humans. The riders.
We're bonds.
Exactly. The text in the series explicitly states, and I have the quote here, "It was not without risk that the first dragons bonded humans, for though they clearly hold the power, their bonded riders made them the one thing they could not tolerate, vulnerable."
It is the Achilles heel of a deity. I mean, a dragon can withstand almost any physical assault. They have scales like iron and fire that can literally melt stone.
But they can't survive a broken bond.
Exactly. If you break the mind or the body of the tiny, fragile human they are tethered to, the dragon falls.
It's the through line of the whole corruption arc, isn't it? Xaden channels to save Scale. The historical figure Xaden channeled to save his dragon.
It's always about exploiting the bond.
The Venin have figured out that to control the dragons, you don't fight the dragons in the sky. You break the riders on the ground.
Which leads to the ultimate question of Berwyn's endgame here. We know the Venin want to drain the hatching grounds at Basgiath.
Right, the Veil.
Yes.
Yep.
That is the source of all magic on the continent.
Right.
If they drain the Veil, they win. completely.
So is the new brother, is Garrick just leverage? Is he just a pawn to keep Xaden obedient, a hostage to ensure the Shadow Wielder doesn't rebel against his sage? Or is Garrick a weapon meant to bypass the wards and directly strike the hatching grounds?
It is brilliantly, terrifyingly both.
Both.
Yes. He is leveraged to paralyze Xaden, preventing the most powerful Navarian asset from fighting back. And simultaneously, he is a tactical nuke, capable of teleporting dark wielders directly into the Veil where the hatchlings are totally defenseless.
Oh my god.
It is a dual-purpose strategy that perfectly exploits human emotion and magical utility at the same time.
Okay, this brings us to the most crucial part of our investigation today, the search for a cure.
We have to find a way out of this.
Because Euros can't just leave it like this. Violet is going to tear the world apart. She's going to burn down every library and interrogate every scribe looking for a way to save Xaden.
And by extension, she will be looking for a way to save Garrick.
Right, but fixing a corrupted soul won't be as simple as finding an old potion recipe hidden in the archives, will it?
No, definitely not. And this brings us to the final provocative thought we want to leave you with today.
The big theory.
Right. We've spent this entire investigation looking at the tactical lore, but we have to look at the fundamental magical law of Yaros' universe.
The price of magic.
The price of magic.
The rule of balance. All magic requires balance. It demands a cost. You can't create something from nothing, and you definitely can't undo something without paying a massive toll.
And the theories from the deep lore sources suggest something incredibly dark regarding this toll.
Okay, tell us.
Well, we know Violet's father, Papa Sorrengail, the head scribe, was researching ancient fables before he died.
Right, specifically the Threshing Day stories.
Yes, the secret history. The history the dragons deliberately hid from humanity to protect their young and to protect their power.
Because they knew humans couldn't handle the truth.
Exactly. The secret history that likely contains the actual origin of the Venin and logically the cure for a Venin soul.
So if a cure exists, it's buried in those fables.
But if the price of magic dictates that a soul-level man requires a sacrifice...
Oh no, a literal life for a life equation.
Yes. We have to look at what that means for our characters.
That is so bleak.
If Xaden can only be cured by trading another corrupted soul.
Wow. Put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
Just imagine the absolute horror of this choice. If Xaden and Violet finally find the cure in Papa Sorrengail's hidden texts, but the magical cost is trading the soul of another Venin.
And that other Venin happens to be his best friend.
Garrick Tavis. Will Xaden have to sacrifice his brother to save himself?
It is a choice that perfectly, tragically mirrors the impossible decisions that forced them to channel in the first place.
It's all connected.
Brennan forced Violet to choose at Draithus. Berwyn forced Xaden to choose. And now, the magic itself might force Xaden into the ultimate trolley problem.
Save yourself. Or save the man who has lived and died in your shadow.
It's absolutely devastating.
We started this deep dive talking about how easy it is to identify a physical threat. I mean, a wyvern is a physical threat. A dark wielder throwing fire is a physical threat.
You can see it, you can fight it.
But the threat in Onyx Storm is systemic. The bones of the Navarian defense are shattered. The healing process is corrupted.
And the medicine, this potential cure requiring a massive sacrifice, might just be way worse than the disease.
And that is exactly the impossible, agonizing precipice where Rebecca Yarros has left us, staring at a completely shattered world, waiting to see who breaks next.
It's going to be a long wait for the next book.
It really is. Well, that's our deep dive for today. Keep digging through those primary texts, keep questioning the tactical maps, and whatever you do, keep investigating. We'll see you next time.
Xaden has a new brother. And it might be Garrick.